So I've got a pretty sweet deck here today. Got what I call Rally Ascension 2.0. So it's a personal brew that I'd start as soon as the Nantuko Husk was released in Origins and the Rally deck became popular. I hadn't seen anybody do it yet, but I stuck Ascendancy in there, and the deck is just freaking sweet. But I changed it up a little bit. Took the Den Protectors out and put in 2 Nyx Weavers and 1 Reclaim. That way we can reclaim at instant speed. Like, I don't know. In this deck, I think it's pretty good. I really don't, need Den Protectors in this deck. But what we've got is the standard. We've got 4 rallies and 4 Ascendancies as the combo, I guess you would say. These generate a lot of value. Once you get 2 of these in the field, God help your opponent if you get more than 2 Ascendancies on the field. I mean, even 2 is a lot, because whenever you rally, you usually bring in 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures. You're sacking all of them. They're each making 1, 2, or 3 tokens each. That's generally good enough. You don't even need the Mogis' Marauder combo kill, but it's still in there. So let's go over the creatures right quick. We've got 3 Fleshbags, 1 Graveblade as a alternate win condition if you run out of rallies. If you can get him to stick on the field and you fill up your graveyard with your creatures, 1 hit with him would usually be enough to finish a game. You've got 3 Grim Haruspex. They're a very important part of the engine in the deck. Just getting 1 on the field is fine. You don't want to draw your entire deck out. You'll end up decking yourself between the Wayfinders and Nyx Weavers and drawing too many cards. So you've got to keep that in mind. If the game tends to go a little long and it gets real grindy, that's when you're going to be leaning on your spirit tokens to close the game, which they pretty much usually will. We've got 1 Minister of Pain main deck. Just because Hangerback is so popular, it might give you a little bit more play against token strategies and such as that. You've got 2 Mogis' Marauders. You've got 4 Nantuko Husks. For Mana Dorks, we've got 3 Elvish Mystics, 4 Caryatids. We've got the playset of Wayfinders and a singleton Gather the Pack, just to fill up our graveyard a little more. The Nyx Weavers will do a pretty good job of it. And they also have the regrow ability, so they're a natural fit in the deck. Mana base is 20 total. 4 of those are fetch lands, so we're pretty lean and mean as far as land goes. Got 1 Caves, 3 Forests, 3 Llanowar Wastes, 1 Plains, 4 Citadel, 2 Temple of Plenty, 1 Temple of Silence, 1 Urborg. I noticed in one of the games that I was drawing real light on white mana, so I may want to change it to 2 Forests and 2 Plains. That way we have the option of fetching up a second white mana source to cast our rally. That came up in one of the games I just played, where I got stuck with just 1 white source because I didn't have a Caryatid in play. I eventually drew it, but I got stuck with a rally and an Hostilities in hand. But ended up winning the game, and I'll put that one up. It was a good game. Pretty cool. Sideboard options. Got 4 Cleric of the Forward Order for any deck that's too aggressive. Until you can start getting your spirit tokens online, they'll do a really good job of chump blocking. They have flying also, which is very important. It just makes the deck, go over the top because they have flying. We have 1 in Hostilities, so any kind of deck that likes to put a lot of permanents, creature type permanents, like the Constellation deck, Devotion decks. It's good against a lot of different decks in the format. We have 2 Thoughtseizes against control. anything that wants to play Graveyard Hate, try to snag it from their hand before they get it in. We have 2 Drown in Sorrow against aggressive weenie decks, mono red, stuff like that. 2 Heroes Downfall. Bring those in if you're playing against a deck with Anafenza, or that's real heavy on Planeswalkers that might give you problems. 1 Infinite Obliteration. I stuck that in here just for Anafenza. Against any deck that you may think of a creature that might give you trouble. Just bring it in, and once you get it, rip those creatures out of their deck, and you'll be good then. We have 1 Reclamation Sage. If you want to, you can switch your Reclamation Sage main deck in the place of the Minister of Pain. That would be a good swap, or swap it out for one of the Edict effect creatures, the Fleshbag Marauders or Merciless Executioners would be fine. And of course the Graveblade Marauder, he's a flex spot too. Now there's quite a few spots in here that are flex spots. You can do whatever you want, and I think it wouldn't mess with the core of the engine. It's really just stuff that I just like trying. And then you have, your meta-dependent builds and whatnot, depending on what you face constantly. On Moto, I just like to make a good, just real generalized build that's very stable, consistent, resilient. It doesn't have to be terribly fast. 2 Dromoka's Command, for the obvious reasons. The card is great against so many different strategies. So that's the deck, and I've only played 1 game with this build of the deck. I haven't played my Rally deck in a long time, since I first made it. But every time I pull it out, every single game that I've played with the Rally deck, on Moto and in paper, I think I've only lost 2 games maybe, out of a bunch. I mean, maybe 15 matches. I've probably lost 2 matches. That's really good. I mean, that's above an 80% win rate, and that's against a variety of decks. The deck is definitely very powerful, but if you're going to be facing a lot of decks with Anafenza in it, it's really tough. It's really annoying. You can do it, but you run a risk of losing a lot of value out of your deck. I mean, you'll still have the Ascendancy going, but it's going to be it's not going to put out a whole lot unless you get a bunch of Ascendancies in at once. Then you got to worry about the opposing deck playing Dromoka's Command and all that. So I don't know if I would necessarily say it's good against this. I don't know if this version is necessarily as good against the other Abzan decks as maybe some of the other builds of Ascendancy is, or are, rather. So it's just something you'd have to try out and test. I really couldn't say. But the deck is really good against a variety of decks. It plays really smooth. I noticed the last match that I just played, both games I had to mulligan to 6, but the deck did good after that. So I'll get those videos up, and anybody that wants to check them out, give me any thoughts or whatever, and build the deck for yourself and try it out. It's really fun. It's really cool. You have a lot of options. There's a lot of decisions to make. There's a lot of little intricacies to the deck that's fun to mess with, and it's just really cool. So, and I think the deck will survive rotation with some changes, but it'll still be there. So when rotation comes, we'll see what we can brew up.